What is up, guys? So yesterday I talked about Devin Booker's 70-point game and whether or not it was overrated or he was stat padding, gave my opinions on that. But today's video is going to be more traditional in the sense where I go over a bunch of stuff that happened yesterday besides the games. So with that in mind, let's hop into everything that went down. MVP, MVP, MVP. I don't think there's ever been so much emphasis placed upon the MVP award as there has been this season. There are a legit 5 players that you can make an argument for to win the MVP award, and no matter what your argument is for those players, you really couldn't be too wrong. Whether it be for Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, or even Isaiah Thomas, and heck, regardless of how you feel about him, if not for his injury, Kevin Durant would be right there in the conversation too. But most of the talk either revolves around Russell Westbrook or James Harden. And I'm sure you all know by now what the story is. Westbrook averaging a triple-double. Last player to do that was Oscar Robertson back in 1962, but his Thunder are the 6th seed. Meanwhile, James Harden is averaging only 2 less rebounds per game and 1 more assist per game than Westbrook, and his Rockets have the 3rd best record in the NBA. So should it go to the guy who's leading his team to the better record or the guy with the better story? This really has the community split in half, well, almost half, because there are some people saying,
¿Por qué no los dos?
¿Por qué no las dos? Why not both? The thought of a co-MVP, it is interesting, and apparently it's one that the head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans is kind of fond of.
I think it would be almost worthy this year of maybe having co-MVPs. You know, no one's really talked about that, but you're talking about 2 guys that have really done a great job.
Now, in the history of the NBA, there has never been co-MVPs. The closest thing to it was when John Stockton and Karl Malone shared the All-Star Game MVP back in 1993. But the MVP award holds a heck of a lot more weight to it than the All-Star MVP award. 2 players win MVP of an All-Star game, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Because while I'm sure players are happy to win the award, it's not nearly as gratifying as winning the actual MVP, you know, to be crowned the most valuable player in the NBA, basically guaranteeing your spot amongst the greats and in the Hall of Fame. So that brings us to the question, can there really be co-MVPs? I mean, it sounds nice. Russ and Harden are both having great seasons, so why not let both of them win it? You know, so everybody is happy. But then you have to take a look at it. Is everybody really happy? Would Russell Westbrook and James Harden be happy with the idea of sharing the MVP award? After all, these guys are competitors. They want to prove to everybody that they are the best, that they've had the best season. They alone are the MVP of the league, and we have to share it with someone else. You can't really say that you were the best. You can't really say that you were the MVP of the season. You have to say, no, me and him and I were the MVPs of the season. And when it comes to sports, it's win or lose. That's how it is. There are no ties. That's just how it is, win or lose. So, you know, on one hand, the idea of a co-MVP seems nice. You know, it seems like the fair way to go. But on the other hand, it also seems like kind of a cop-out. I'm curious to know what you guys think though. Do you guys think it would be a good idea to have a co-MVP? Do you guys think there should be a co-MVP this year? In my opinion, I think they just have to pick one. It goes against the competitive nature to have more than one MVP for a single season, to have a tie. Then who knows, in years to come, it could start being done more and more and more until the MVP award loses its value. What's a better topic to have after talking about the MVP award to once again talk about the MVP award? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't think I've ever seen as much hype around the MVP award as I have this season. Anyways, a common thing to do is to ask players who are in contention to win the award what their take on it is. Who deserves to win it, or they think that they deserve to win it, which I think is kind of pointless and kind of stupid because they can only give one answer. And yesterday, it was James Harden's turn to answer the question on who he thinks should win the award, and you know, his answer was kind of what you would expect. I think so, but I don't try to think about it too much. I try to do my job at a high level and win. Seriously, what kind of a question is that? What did you expect him to say? No, I don't deserve the MVP award this season. Give it to the other guy. No one's gonna say that. And the final story of the day comes to us in the form of Rudy Gorbert voicing his frustration. Now, at first glance, some of you may think, what's there to voice his frustration about? The Jazz have the 4th best record in the Western Conference. They're a good up-and-coming young NBA team. He should be happy in a field with rainbows, lollipops, and Brian Scalabrine. I don't know. But the Jazz have been going through a rough patch as of late. With yesterday's loss to the Clippers, the Jazz have now lost 4 of their past 5 games and are barely holding on to the 4th seed over the Clippers, which led Gobert to say this: "We've got guys to compete, but some of us don't compete. Some of us just think about scoring. That's what it is. I think everybody needs to think about making plays for the team. Making winning plays before thinking about how many points we're going to score and stuff like that. Everybody has to be ready to sacrifice. In the playoffs, it's not going to be pretty. There's going to be some games where you don't score, but you're gonna have to take a charge for a teammate. Are you gonna come and box out DeAndre Jordan for a teammate? Now, who he's talking about, I can't be sure. And for any of you thinking that it could be Gordon Hayward, for whatever reason you would think that, it's not. As Gobert showed his support for Hayward after last night's game too, saying that he tells Hayward to keep being aggressive on the offensive end, that he's only human and everyone has off games. But calling out your teammates to the media and saying anything to the media really this season has really been frowned upon by the media. You remember the outroar that was caused by LeBron James saying that his team needs a playmaker. And then there was the thing when Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler put their teammates on blast in front of the media. Now, I don't think this is going to be perceived the same way, because while he is a great player, Gobert isn't the same type of household name like LeBron James or Dwayne Wade or even Jimmy Butler. So it's not going to generate as many clicks for the media to make a bunch of stories about Rudy Gorbert, so they're not going to waste their time making a bunch of stories about Rudy Gorbert. Personally though, I kind of like what Gobert is doing. I'm not against calling out your teammates as long as this isn't the first time you're trying to say something. If you have approached them before, you're like, yo, you need to get your act together, you need to get your act together, you need to get your act together, and they still haven't done it, then yeah, I think it's about time to put someone on blast. But overall, Gobert is stepping up and becoming a vocal leader, someone that's gonna hold the guys accountable for the way they play. And as much as I like Gordon Hayward, he doesn't seem like the type of guy to put a teammate in check if he needs to. You know, he's a nice guy who would rather lead by example by simply working hard. So, you know, it's good to kind of have both. Hayward leading by example and Gobert, you know, leading by other means. And that's everything for today. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And you guys already know that I'll see you back here tomorrow talking about everything that went on in the NBA today. So until then, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace.